handsome princes and beautiful princesses, powerful gods and wicked demons, monsters and Rakshasas.
Come, let us all go to the world of long, long, long ago. To meet the kings and queens of a land and play with the prince and princesses. Let's marvel at the powerful gods and hear about the Rakshasas. Let's take a trip and sit on a ship and go to the land of long, long ago. Long, long ago. Long, long ago. Long, long ago.
This is the story of Krishna and Sudhama. Krishna and Sudhama studied under the same guru. They spent many years together. During those years, they played together, ate together, studied together. They even played pranks on the other children and hermits in the ashram. Krishna and Sudhama were inseparable. But as all things, good or bad, come to an end, the day came when their education was complete. I am going to miss you, Krishna. So am I, Sudhama. Do you think we will meet again in the near future? I don't know where my fate will take me, but I will never forget our friendship, said Sudhama. Nor will I, Sudhama. There will not be a day that I will not think of you and miss you. And thus, the two friends bid a tearful farewell to each other. Many years passed. Both Krishna and Sudhama were leading their lives in their own way. Krishna became king of Dwarka. He was a good and just king. His subjects loved him, and there was prosperity in his kingdom. But Sudhama's fate did not treat him well enough. Though he was a learned and wise Brahmin, he was extremely poor. Krishna married Rukmini, princess of Vidarbha, and lived in a grand palace. He wore rich clothes and ornaments. His palace was made of marble, and he slept on golden beds. He held feasts every day and ate the best of foods. Sudhama, on the other hand, married a poor Brahmin girl and lived in a small wooden hut. He wore torn and tattered clothes and slept on the floor. Feasts were a distant dream. Sudhama was lucky if he ate 2 meals a day. Sudhama had 2 children. Many a time Sudhama and his wife would go without food so as to feed their hungry children. Sudhama would tell stories about his childhood with Krishna to his wife and children. You know, Krishna was very naughty as a child. He would always get into trouble. But once he was caught, he would make such an innocent face that the person would forget everything and let him go scot-free. Krishna was also very brave and valiant. He once killed a huge 100-headed snake called Kalya, who had made everybody's life miserable in Gokul. Nothing is impossible when it comes to Krishna. He can perform miracles, he would say. As the days passed, Sudhama's condition worsened. It was becoming difficult for him to get food even for his children. At times, even the children had to go without food. Sudhama and his wife would fill the stomachs of their hungry children with water and put them to sleep. "Oh, my lord, you must do something," I cannot see the children starve anymore, said Sudhama's wife one day. But what shall I do? I'm trying my best to earn food, but of no avail. Why don't you go to Krishna? I have heard that he is a very generous king, and he never turns away anybody who seeks his help. Besides, you are his best friend. Sudhama was unsure. He had many doubts in his mind. He was so poor and his clothes were tattered. What if the palace guards did not allow him to see Krishna? What if Krishna did not recognize him? After all, so many years had passed. Besides, he was feeling ashamed to approach Krishna for help. But his wife was so desperate that she prodded him. Why don't you just visit him? Meet him if you can, for the sake of our children. Please, my lord, even if he does not recognize you or help you, at least we will have tried. Sudhama knew he owed it to his wife and children. He decided to put aside all his doubts and go to Dwarka. He would try to seek an audience with Krishna for the sake of his children. The next day, he put on his least torn clothes and prepared to leave for Dwarka. My lord, Krishna may be king, but you are his childhood friend. Don't you think you should take something for him as a present? Asked his wife. But what do I have that I can take for somebody like Krishna? He must be used to eating the best food, wearing the best clothes. What can I possibly take that will satisfy him? Said Sudhama. But his wife was persistent. Whatever it is, you certainly should not meet him empty-handed. I will make some flattened rice. Take it with you. I remember you telling me Krishna loved flattened rice when he was a child. Thus, Sudhama's wife took out the last bit of rice that they had in the house, cooked it with utmost care, and gave it to Sudhama. Sudhama wrapped it up in the best piece of cloth he had and set off on his journey. He walked for many days. He would walk from morning to dusk, rest under a tree for the night, and start walking again the next day. Due to the strains of the journey, he looked tired and frail. His clothes tore further. By the time he reached Dwarka, he was exhausted and looked absolutely tattered. As he entered the city, Sudhama was filled with awe. Looking around, he saw beautiful mansions, people wearing rich clothes, shops laden with goods of all kinds. People were laughing and talking everywhere. The city was a picture of prosperity and contentment. Seeing all this only made Sudhama more painfully aware of his torn clothes, dirty and unwashed body, and sore feet. Fearfully, he approached the palace gates.
Who goes there and what do you want?
One of the guards stopped him. I want to meet Krishna. My name is Sudhama. I am Krishna's childhood friend, stammered Sudhama fearfully.
Please wait here a moment. I will return shortly,
the guard said as he disappeared behind the huge palace gates. Sudhama's mind was filled with anxious thoughts as he waited for the guard to return. Soon he heard the sound of running feet. Sudhama was terrified. The guards must have called other guards to arrest me for calling the great king my friend. Oh, what will I do now? He thought fearfully. The next moment, the gates burst open. And to Sudhama's astonishment, he saw Krishna rushing towards him. He was followed by Rukmini
and all his courtiers. Krishna ran to him, threw his arms around him, and hugged him in a tight embrace. "Oh, Sudhama, how much I have missed you! Where have you been for so many years?" Krishna started talking excitedly to Sudhama. Sudhama was dumbstruck. He could not say a word. His eyes filled with tears at the way Krishna had received him. But Krishna would not stop talking. He was very excited. "Do you remember our days at the Gurukul? Oh, what beautiful days we spent there. And do you remember the way we sneaked off into the forest?" He went on and on. "Rukmini, do you know who this is?" Krishna's wife Rukmini answered. "Yes, my lord. You've spoken about your friend 1,000 times. You also used to say that he will surely come to visit you someday. My lord, your friend must be tired. Why don't we take him inside and let him rest a while? You can talk to him all you want after that." "Oh yes, please, come in, Sudhama. I was so excited to see you that I totally forgot about anything else," said Krishna. Krishna and Rukmini took Sudhama inside. Sudhama was amazed with the grandeur of the palace. "Come, my friend, you must be tired after your journey. Let me wash your tired feet for you." Krishna washed Sudhama's tired and sore feet in a golden basin filled with perfumed water. All the courtiers were filled with amazement and respect for their king. "What exemplary friendship! The king is washing the feet of a poor Brahmin. Long live Krishna!" they whispered to each other. In the meanwhile, Rukmini arranged for the best food in the palace to be served to Sudhama. All this while, Sudhama had not uttered a word. He was overwhelmed by the way he was received. Suddenly, Krishna looked at the little cloth parcel tied to Sudhama's waist and said, "What have you got there? Is that something for me? I am sure you have brought a present for me. Give it to me, Sudhama." No, it is nothing. It's just something," stuttered Sudhama. He was too ashamed to give Krishna his humble gift of flattened rice. But Krishna did not give him a chance to hesitate. He grabbed the cloth pouch and opened it. "Oh, Sudhama, you remember that I love flattened rice. How tasty it looks!" As Rukmini watched lovingly, Krishna took a handful and put it in his mouth. "Excellent! This is the tastiest food I have ever eaten." He ate 2 mouthfuls. As he was about to eat his 3rd mouthful, Rukmini gently stopped him. "I think that should be more than enough. Won't you let me taste some?" Krishna smiled and gave Rukmini the last mouthful. As Sudhama sat and watched Krishna eat his humble offering, his happiness knew no bounds. He had never imagined that Krishna would be so happy to eat his simple offering. Krishna and Sudhama talked all day. It was the happiest day of Sudhama's life. He was so happy to be with Krishna that he forgot all about why he had come here. Even as it was time to leave, Sudhama did not want to tell Krishna the reason behind his visit. "He has given me so much love and respect. How can I ask him for anything more than that?" he thought, as he decided not to say anything to Krishna. After spending a few glorious days with Krishna and Rukmini, Sudhama decided it was time for him to go home. "My wife and children await me anxiously, Krishna. I must go back to them now." "Go if you must, Sudhama, but please visit me again. I will never forget these happy days I have spent with you," he said sadly. As Sudhama took his leave, The whole kingdom came to the city gates to see him off. Sudhama was overcome with happiness and emotion. Only when he neared his village did he realize that he had not brought back any money or food. He thought of his wife and hungry children and was sad. What will I tell them? They must be waiting for me eagerly, he thought. At least I can tell them that Krishna has not forgotten me and how well he received me. He was lost in thought as he approached his house. Suddenly, he looked up and he was amazed by what he saw. Exactly on the place where his old hut stood was a magnificent palace. It was the most beautiful palace he had ever seen. Oh, I must have lost my way. How unmindful I have become. He was just about to turn away when he saw his wife approaching him from the palace. He was dumbstruck when he saw her. She was wearing rich clothes and gold ornaments. His children were playing about nearby. They looked healthy and happy, and they wore rich and wonderful clothes. "Father, father!" His children rushed towards him. "What has happened? Where did you get these clothes? Where did this palace come from?" he asked his wife in astonishment. "My lord, when you were away, one day suddenly our old hut changed into this magnificent palace, and these clothes, servants, and food appeared out of nowhere. I thought you had met Krishna and he had given you all this." Slowly it dawned upon Sudhama what had happened. He now realized why Krishna had a smile on his face when he ate 2 mouthfuls of flattened rice that he had taken for him. "My dear, this is Krishna's miracle. With every mouthful of flattened rice he ate, our house was being blessed with the wealth of the world. Had Rukmini not stopped Krishna from eating the last mouthful, we would have been richer than the god of wealth. That is why the wise Rukmini stopped him from eating the last mouthful." And he told them all what had happened at Dwarka. They were all happy and contented and thanked Krishna from their hearts.
Krishna, Krishna.
Sudhama and his family never went hungry again, and there was not a single day when they did not think of Krishna. Sudhama and his family lived happily ever after.